Hello Internet, this is Whispering Whim, and today I have a special little treat for you and I to enjoy. I had mentioned in my last grocery haul that I had found these cheese snacks, right? And they were pretty diet friendly, but my local grocery stores only seem to have a few of the flavors. And I looked it up online. There's 9 flavors available. So I just went ahead and bought one of all of them. And so that means we're gonna do a taste testing video. It's been a very long time since I've been able to do a tasting video for you guys. Trying to get ready for the wedding for like 3 years now. But I used to enjoy doing the Munch Pack videos, and I know that they were pretty popular back when I did them, so it's kind of nice to go back and do something similar, right? So let's go ahead and start off by just reading off all the flavors that we've got going on today. There is garlic herb and Parmesan, crinkle, 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 barbecue, tangy ranch, nacho, we got cheddar, some noisy cheddar right there. And then Asiago pepper jack. Pretty excited for that one. Let's see. Hot and spicy. And last but not least, tomato basil. Now what these are is they're basically just cheese and flavoring. You can see they proudly proclaim on their package 12 grams of protein, only 2 grams of carbs, no sugar, and they're gluten-free. And what's kind of funny about them is that a serving size, there's 2 in a bag, but the serving size is technically 28 grams, but the bag contains 60 grams. Which means there's an extra 4 grams that's not really a serving. Now, normally I'm not quite that particular about my calorie counting to be upset about 4 grams. But when you multiply that by 9 bags, that's like a whole extra serving. So for my taste testing here, I'm going to weigh out 4 grams of the product, and that will be my afternoon snack today. And that's 4 grams of each, right? So adds up to 36 grams, which is just slightly under the serving size. Anyways, that's a lot of rambling. Let's go ahead and jump in. I think the first one I will do is the good old cheddar. Now, I have tried this one before, and this is the one that you are most likely to find in the stores if your grocery stores carry these. So it seems like a good base point to kind of start with, right? It's going to be a very crinkly sort of video. All right, so finally open. Scale on. Let's see exactly what 4 grams of this stuff looks like. Is it 1 chip? It is pretty much 1 chip. That's 5 grams right there. So maybe if I broke off just a teeny weeny piece and throw that back in the bag. We are now at 3 grams. Well, it's not a precise science, right? So, first up, plain old cheddar. So as you can probably tell, they are quite crispy. Kind of gives you that cracker sensation, right? And considering there's no flour or gluten or a lot of starches in it, it's kind of a nice texture to reintroduce back into your diet when you're trying to do like low carb, which is, I don't follow any particular diet, but I do try to keep my sugar down. Anyways, other than the crunch factor, there is a little sense of oiliness. I think that's just because cheese is naturally pretty fatty, and when they dehydrate it, that fat doesn't really go away. And I think that'll be true for all of these. So that's a part of the critique that I can say now and not have to go over, which just leaves us with flavor. So it is indeed a cheddar flavor, and if you read the ingredients, that's pretty much all it is. Ingredients: cheddar cheese. And then they have the parentheses: milk, cheese cultures, salt, enzymes, and annatto, which is a colorant. As far as cheeses go, I think cheddar is a decent cheese. It's not my favorite. I don't tend to lean towards the really tangy cheeses. This one would probably qualify as a medium cheddar if you were buying a block of it. So that is cheddar. Now, next up, let's go ahead and do the Parmesan. I've also tried this one, but I haven't tried it, throwing stuff. I haven't tried it side by side. I'm pretty sure that I prefer the Parmesan out of the two flavors that I can regularly get without doing a special online order, because it wasn't the cheapest thing in the world to do. Definitely smell the Parmesan. Like, I don't think I noticed that when I first opened up the cheddar, but when I opened up the Parmesan, I got hit with a whiff of cheese. Cheese wisps. Anyways, I'm going to assume 1 cracker is about what I want to try, but let's go ahead and weigh out 1 more of these guys, just so I can feel confident here. And that is so light, it doesn't even register. My scale thinks that was, let's try that again. Yeah, it doesn't even, okay. So let's tear it out. Got 1 crisp, 2 crisps. That's only 2 grams apparently. Okay, now we're at 4 grams. And for this particular flavor, that's all of this. How interesting is that? Parmesan must be a less dense cheese. Or at least these particular ones are more airy. You can kind of see the bubbles. I'll go ahead and I'll set this off to the side because I'll eat that after the video for the rest of my afternoon snack. And we'll try just one. So right away, I can tell you that that one is easier to chew. Like, I'm pretty sure I'll edit out some of my chewing for the cheddar cheese because it took me a little while. So they are indeed less dense. The texture is a little easier on my poor teeth. And oddly, I do prefer it over the cheddar, but it's not as big of a difference as I thought it would be. In fact, I'm gonna go for one of these little crumbs here. You get the saltiness. You know, Parmesan cheese is naturally a pretty salty cheese. But other than that, it's not super distinct. I'm not sure if that's the Parmesan itself, because I don't think I've ever eaten just a hunk of Parmesan before, or if that's the way they prepared it. But I do know that if you can Google recipes for dehydrating your own Parmesan in the oven and essentially make these for, I would imagine, much cheaper than I bought them for. So let's go ahead now and let's try one of the like more crazy flavors, one that I can't or have yet to find in the stores. And I'm having a terrible job cutting these. Is tearing better? No, it's not better. And I have done this with every bag so far. It's actually sealed quite low. I always get nervous about ruining the zipper because I don't want to eat all of these today. At least not completely eat them all. That would be a bit excessive. Okay. So this one kind of tastes like the Parmesan, actually. I thought I'd be hit with more of the, you know, herbs and tang, but that's not coming through at the moment. And this one does have significantly more ingredients because it has cheese, but it also has buttermilk, garlic, yeast extract, onion, tomato, salt, citric acid, sugar, spice, lactic acid, paprika, malic acid, natural flavors, and vinegar. So that's maybe a recipe for ranch. And I do notice that the ranch flavoring is 170 calories, whereas the two previous ones were only 150. So this one is a more fattening snack. All those extra ingredients. So let's go ahead, turn on my scale that loves to turn off, and let's see how much chips we get for 4 grams this time. Okay, so it looks like it would be 3.5 little crackers for 4 grams. So we'll go ahead and set that aside and eat one. Okay, so the ranch does have a bit of an herby kind of tangy note. But honestly, I think the cheese itself pretty much overwhelms the flavor. Either, you know, they didn't put in a lot of ranch flavoring, probably because it's so calorie intense. But it mostly tastes like cheese. I don't really have any comparison because I guess I don't normally eat cheese and ranch together. But I can say, considering how similar it is to the other two, I'm suddenly not feeling quite as bad about the fact that I can't find that one in the stores. So let's see here. Let's boost up the flavor factor here and try the hot and spicy. This one is also an extra 20 calories per serving, so 170. And I actually got the top open on the first go that time. Oh, come on. Turn on, little guy. There we go. And this, I think the battery is kind of going out on my scale. So, oh, okay. So I put on 3 and they're already over the 4-gram mark. It's 5. So I'm guessing if I snap one of these. Yep, there we go. So on this flavor, 4 grams is 2.5 little discs. We're getting scientific up in here. Honestly, if I grabbed another set of discs out, it'd probably have different weights. That's just the nature of, these kinds of products. But anyways, hot and spicy. Okay, so the hot and spicy one does have a little bit of a kick. In this household, it would not even register as spicy at all, but it is obviously spicier than the other ones I have tried so far. But just like before, the cheese flavor kind of is like the overwhelming component. So again, maybe not one that I would have to special order. Maybe I just stick with the ones I can find in the store. Let's go ahead and why don't we try the Asiago pepper jack? My favorite cheese, if I had to name one, would be Colby Jack, but pepper jack is a close second. So this hopefully will taste pretty delicious, or it just might taste like cheese. And we are back down to 150 calories for our serving. And oh, this one's pretty crumbly. I don't know if I've got... Oh, guys, that one's heavy because I just have like crumbly bits, and they're pretty thin. Comparatively speaking, like much thinner than some of the other ones. But that right there is 4 grams. So let's grab one, put the rest aside for my afternoon snack. So that one definitely tastes like pepper jack. So that's a bonus. And I would say it is probably as spicy as the hot and spicy flavor, which isn't really that spicy, but kind of interesting that the pepper jack is the same heat level as the hot and spicy. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the next one, because this has gotten a little more repetitive than I was expecting, in all honesty. Definitely not as exciting, right, as my good old munch packs used to be. But then I don't even want to know how many calories I would have eaten, in one video when I was doing those munch packs. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and weigh it out. This one is the garlic herb flavor, and it is made with Parmesan cheese. It is also $1.50 for a serving, and it looks like for that little handful at least, 3 of the cheese circles equals out to our 4 grams. So we'll go ahead and give this one a go. This one might be my new favorite now. Finally, you can kind of taste something other than the cheese. The garlic comes through nicely. You can taste the herbs, and that particular little disc was had a really nice texture. It was easy to chew, still crispy, but not quite so dense as some of them. And that could just be the particular disc that I grabbed. But definitely, that's a good one. I hope that one shows up in the grocery stores. Garlic and herb. Next up, we've got barbecue going on here. Barbecue flavored potato chips is one of my favorite potato chips, so it'll be interesting to see how this compares. And did I get it? Yeah, I got it open. And this one is the 170 per serving, so this is one of the more fancy. That's not quite the word I want. One of the more decadent, that's the word, of flavors. Although they seem pretty consistent. Either it's 150 or 170. And I'm getting good at weighing these out. I grabbed 4 grams right off the bat. And my 4 grams does include some crumbs, but I'd say that's roughly maybe 2 circles. Got us to that weight. And just so I don't make a mess of my counter, I think I'll sample those crumbs as my sample. Ooh. Now they're just getting better and better. Barbecue flavoring comes through. The cheese kind of doesn't take away from the barbecue, but I don't think it adds. It makes me think of because one of my favorite, I love barbecue sauce. One of my favorite burgers at, what is it? Red Robin. There we go. Is like a Western burger. And you kind of get the barbecue sauce and the onions, and you can put cheddar cheese on there. And it kind of reminds me of that hamburger flavor profile. For me, anyways. But that is definitely another winner. We're down to just 2 flavors. Let's hope they are equally as tasty. That barbecue one was good. Although, I think I might still prefer the garlic and herb just because it pairs better with the cheese. Cheese is such a potent flavor on its own. And I'm actually not as big of a cheese person as some people. I don't mind it. I'm not anti-cheese. But I do enjoy a lot of different flavor profiles that I don't think cheese always enhances everything. So our 4 grams looks like 2 discs. So we'll set that one off to the side and try this guy out. So that one definitely took a little more effort to chew. And I did notice that it had advertised as made with cheddar. So I think that's just something to do with how the cheddar cheese dehydrates. That aside, it does taste a little different than just plain old cheddar. There's that hint of maybe like paprika and I don't know, just a dash of garlic probably. Let's see here. Salt, color, whey, onion powder, tomato powder. Oh, I guess I can kind of taste it now. Garlic, lactic acid, citric acid, and paprika. I'm good, aren't I? So I could taste that it was different, but it wasn't significantly different from the cheddar cheese flavor. So that brings us down to our very last guy. This is the tomato basil flavor. And this one is made with Parmesan. So I'm going to guess that it'll have that nice lighter texture that I seem to favor. If I can ever cut these proper on the first go. Basil's usually such a strong smell. I'm surprised it's not coming across more. I can definitely smell it in there. But most of these have not had a very strong aroma to them. Let's see here. Yep. Parmesan is just lighter. I'm going to get more circles this time around. Ding, ding, ding. There we go. So for this particular flavor here, we've got, some of these are a little broken, so we'll say, yeah, about 4. If they were all whole, it'd probably be 4 of the crackers. And we'll put those aside and then try this guy. It didn't smell very strong, but as soon as you start chewing, you definitely get the basil and the tomato. And that one pairs pretty well with the Parmesan cheese. And that's kind of a classic Italian combo right there, right? Kind of mom spaghetti with a little Parmesan cheese on top. That one is also pretty tasty. Is it better than the garlic and herb, though? I'm going to say they're about equal. They're about equal. And then, now that we are wrapping up, I can do this relatively quietly here. I'm going to gather all the ones that we weighed and did not eat, just so you guys can kind of see about how much a serving is. You know, keeping in mind that this plate is missing about 9 crackers. Most of the ones I tried were partials. So this is about what a serving size is. So for 150 to 170 calories, not terrible. And now I feel like I'm like overly advertising these people. I haven't even said their name though. I did it once, Wisps. But anyways, this isn't an affiliate or paid or anything. I just wanted to try something new today. And so that brings us to the end of our little tasting video today. Maybe not quite as exciting as I was hoping for, but you know, an extra video is still an extra video, right? Right? Anyways, that means it is shout out time. So thank you to Wicca Banks, Amanda Friedman, and Field are just a few of the lovely people who commented on my last video. So thank you guys for continuing to support me. Some of you are quite regular now. I feel all special and stuff. Anyways, I gotta clean up this whole mess and get ready for the next thing. So I'm gonna say goodbye, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Until next time.